Well, today we were supposed to have Heather. She had a little glitch. So it is just me talking about a topic that I've done a lot of research on in the last few weeks, because it seems like it's affecting everybody, men and women. So many men and women are complaining about hormonal issues, especially with what's going on in the last 2 years. And it's estrogen dominance. And that is the condition of increased estrogen levels relative to progesterone in the body. And you don't have to be just female. You know, men and women both are supposed to have testosterone. Men and women are both supposed to have estrogen, just at different levels. And estrogen dominance may be the result of overproduction of estrogen in the body, changes in estrogen metabolism and getting rid of it or excretion, or an imbalance of the estrogen to progesterone ratio. And like I mentioned, both men and women, we're seeing it in my family and friends. So this is a topic close to my heart. I know so many women that are suffering from this, and women are a little more let's say, aware of what's going on in their body. Men, a lot of men will say, God, I'm doing all the right things. My testosterone level's high. It's good. I'm going to the gym. I'm eating right. And it's just not translating into what I should be seeing. And I should be more cut and defined and have better body image from all of these things I'm doing. Well, that could be that there's too much estrogen in your body. And estrogen isn't all bad. We need estrogen. It's important for things like cardiovascular health, fertility, cognitive health, bone health. But the problem comes if the body cannot get rid of the toxic energy or estrogen properly. And you know that my two things about a disease and aging quickly is number one, toxicity, number two, insulin resistance. So what are the symptoms of estrogen dominance? A lot of people have endometriosis or fibroids, obviously women, pelvic pain and breast tenderness, weight gain. Women gain the weight around their butt and thighs, and men usually gain it around their bellies. Fat cells can increase estrogen levels by converting androgens into estrogens. And this is known as aromatization. This becomes a vicious cycle because estrogenic toxins are then stored in the fat cells, and extra fat can increase circulating androgens. So the body uses fat stores to encapsulate those toxins and hide it in the tissues, right? So the more toxic you are, the more the body wants to hold on to fat and not let it go. The more fat you have, the more it's going to turn androgens or that excess estrogens or the excess testosterone into estrogens that are toxic. So it's this vicious cycle. Men get man boobs and enlarged prostates. And a lot of people get leptin resistance. Leptin is that hormone that tells your brain, I'm full, I've had enough to eat, I don't need any more. Well, leptin starts to become resistant and your body doesn't listen to that signal. And that's when you will say, well, God, that hunger signal never turns off. I'm always hungry. That's why a lot of people who are insulin resistant are also leptin resistant. And both of those things can lead to estrogen dominance, and estrogen dominance can lead to leptin resistance and insulin resistance. So you can see that these things are feeding off each other. And then the biggie, hypothyroidism. Who is not suffering from hypothyroidism? That can be from too much estrogen, which can slow down the conversion of the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into the active thyroid hormone T3. T standing for tyrosine, 4 and 3 standing for molecules of iodine. And that's why iodine is so important. And this happens in the liver. That's why I always talk about love your liver. I just finished my last liver flush, which was a couple days ago. My energy went through the roof. I honestly couldn't believe it. And I do them often. I eat pretty clean and I'm pretty consistent with my routine. And even me can feel a huge difference with that liver flush. Additionally, the excess toxins like to hide in the thyroid receptor sites, slowing down thyroid function. So that's another reason where you've got the hypothyroidism is leading to estrogen dominance because it's not helping the liver clean out the estrogens, but then that is leading to the thyroid getting clogged with the halogens and other toxins, limiting the conversion from T4 to T3, and then leading to hypothyroidism. So it's another one of those domino effects that's a vicious cycle. Other symptoms: decreased libido in men and women, menstrual irregularity, heavy menstrual flow, cramps in women. This is becoming a huge issue because of COVID, whether you got the vaccine or the actual virus. A lot of people are seeing huge disruption in hormones, and then it's leading to estrogen dominance. And then you may see mood changes, migraines, especially with your menstrual cycle, infertility in both men and women. I saw a horrible statistic on the news the other night. How can you trust the news? But the fact that it was mainstream news, it says a lot, is infertility in men is down significantly. Sperm count is down over 40% in men. So that is something very serious to consider. Another symptom: bloat, water retention in the hands and feet, fatigue, constipation. Constipation goes along with hypothyroidism and then an imbalance in hormones in general. And then that constipation leads to estrogen dominance even more because your body's not getting out those toxins, getting out the estrogens. Then you also will have a slow metabolism because estrogen blocks the thyroid hormone receptors and inhibits proper thyroid function. And then eventually it does lead to cancer. The leading cause for mitochondrial failure is iodine deficiency, and mitochondrial failure leads to cancer. So how does estrogen dominance occur? Estrogen dominance is not only exposure to increased amounts of estrogen, but also a disruption of the detoxification through the liver, the gut, microbiome, the bile, and the kidneys. We have all of these great organs that are meant for detoxification, but our organs are getting bombarded by way too many toxins. Our bodies are not meant to handle as many toxins as we are being exposed to. But this can be referred to as phase 1, 2, and 3 detox. Think about phase 1 as water coming into the bathtub. Phase 2 is how quickly that water can drain out of the bathtub. And phase 3 is how efficiently is the water going through the pipes and out of the house, right? So we've got the backup. If your water is not going outside the pipes and they're clogged and you don't have Drano, that bathtub's going to overflow. Doesn't matter how quickly or slowly the water's coming out of the faucet and the water's filling the bathtub up, right? So that's also why whenever I say you want to do a liver flush, you also want to make sure that you're cleaning out the bottom pipes and making sure you're not constipated. We want to get the bottom pipes clean before we start detoxing the upper pipes. So phase 1 is how the liver is able to break down the estrogen. Phase 2 is how the liver is able to move the estrogens out of the liver. Phase 3 is how the gut is able to pack the estrogen together in a nice little neat package and excrete it out of the body through the colon and into the toilet. It is imperative to focus on the liver and the microbiome for clearing estrogens. Unhealthy bile from the liver and an unbalanced microbiome in the gut will raise your estrogen levels. You know, I noticed because I recommend after my liver flush, which anyone who's done it, you feel like, oh my gosh, there's nothing left in my body. It's all in the toilet. I'm essentially going to the bathroom and it's like water. Well, then if anyone goes to get a colonic, they'll find out that there's all this old bile that finally gets stimulated and comes out. That bile is really important for liver detoxification. So it is really important to actually do those colonics after the liver flush and also to keep up with them if you can. It's not scary. It's not overwhelming. It's very easy and it feels actually very good. You really do feel a new refreshed sense of your metabolism shooting up, your liver health is up, and that way you're able to increase the detoxification in your body. So what is going to increase estrogen dominance? Number one, you guessed it, a dirty liver. We've got to take care of our liver. The liver is responsible for producing estrogen binding protein. When the liver is dirty, it has a difficult time doing this, and the liver is where phase 1, 2, and 3 estrogen detoxification occurs. So I recommend the accelerated liver cleanse 3 to 4 times a year. I really try to do it 4 times a year. And it is part of the Ascent Diet Cleanse. That is the full complete package that is going to detox you from estrogen dominance the most effectively and the quickest way. Iodine deficiency. This is huge, you guys. Iodine is used by the endocrine system to regulate estrogen production in both men and women. And without ample iodine, estrogen dominance occurs. 96% of Americans are extremely iodine deficient. And last week I did a health talk on why you cannot just look at your blood tests on if you are deficient in iodine, and how over 100 trillion cells in your body need that iodine, not just your thyroid and your breast tissue. Every cell in your body needs iodine. And iodine is used to clean up the blood in the liver so that the liver can do its job in producing the estrogen binding protein. Iodine also helps break up fatty liver, and without it, the risk of fatty liver will increase, which then leads to more estrogen dominance. So you're getting the idea. Iodine is super important for estrogen dominance. And the protocol is 25 drops 3 times a day on an empty stomach, diluted in water, and you take it away from food and other supplements by at least 15 minutes. Okay, so iodine, the acceleradine. The acceleradine is the only one that's 100% bioavailable monoatomic, the only kind that can be absorbed by all 100 trillion cells in your body. Okay, what else will increase estrogen dominance? Our waters. When millions of women are consuming birth control and hormone replacement therapy, both of which contain estrogen, they urinate it out, it travels into the water treatment plants, and the plants don't filter it out. As a result, our tap water has perpetually increased amounts of estrogen. And the ocean waters are now approximately 4% estrogen. That is a scary statistic. Next, sugar. So eating refined sugar is not only going to be a problem for your insulin resistance, it robs you of important minerals, but it also produces excess estrogen in the body. And when white sugar is consumed, minerals are taken from the body in order to digest. It is such as sodium, calcium, chromium, and all of the other really important nutrients. This disrupts the mineral ratios in the body. What's next? Conventional meat, poultry, and dairy. Now, I want you to stay away from chicken in general because of the amyloid proteins that we cannot break down. That is even organic chicken, if there is such a thing. But in general, 90% of the livestock animals in the US have estrogen implants behind their ears. by the assembly line factory farmers in order to what? To make them get fat faster, and to be to get speed up the market, them to get to the market, and of course for profit. So if you're eating estrogen laden foods, that's going to increase the estrogen in the body. Estrogen is a fattening hormone. It is a fat storing hormone, just like insulin. That's why they feed these animals grains and junk food, because it's inflammatory. It fattens them quickly. They can then slaughter them and get them on your plate much quicker and make more profit. This is why I talk about wild animal protein, much different. They're eating healthy grass, organic, and those are the meats like the wild bison, lamb, deer, elk, wild fish. Those things are much healthier for you and provide you the good quality amino acids. What else increases estrogen dominance? Pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. One good reason we're supposed to eat organic is that the conventional produce is sprayed with all of these things. They contain xenoestrogens that look like estrogens. And then what happens is they clog the receptor sites in our body, especially in your thyroid. So what happens if they clog the thyroid receptor sites? You can't get iodine into your thyroid slows down, your metabolism slows down, and you come to me and say, Sarah, I'm eating the same thing I was eating 10 years ago, and I'm gaining all of this weight all of a sudden. I've gained 15 pounds in 1 year. It doesn't make sense. Well, this is why. Your receptor sites are clogged. And it could be from your neighbors spraying their house. It could be from the schools spraying their facilities and your kids coming home and having issues because of it. This is the importance of detox, 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 detox on a daily basis. Okay, this is a big one, improperly combining foods. You may have heard this, but when foods are improperly combined, the body's unable to digest the meal, which I knew. Like if I ate fruit with something else in my body, then I would actually feel bloated. But I didn't know that it can actually lead to an increase in estrogen in the body. So the rule of thumb is eat fruit by itself, proteins with vegetables, or starches with vegetables, but never proteins with starches like steak and potatoes or a turkey sandwich or fish bowl with rice. Those things will increase estrogen. Also, overeating. Too much food in the stomach strangulates the internal lining of the stomach, preventing gastrin, hyaluron or hydrochloric acid, and pepsin from being properly secreted. And then you're going to have acute metabolic acidosis, which can increase more estrogen in the body. Plastic bottles, containers, bags, other items that have phthalates and BPAs are known as xenoestrogens as well. Those can cause estrogen dominance. Parabens, same thing. And then a lack of progesterone. Maybe your issue is that not that you have too much estrogen, but you can also have a low level of progesterone since they both attach to the same receptor site in the body. Progesterone is a hormone that requires saturated fat for the body to manufacture it, whereas estrogen has been shown to cause cellular mutation. Progesterone, much like iodine and oxygen, induces what's called apoptosis, halting the cellular mutation and causing new healthy cells to be regenerated. So if you don't have it, then that's going to be halted. Birth control pills and hormone replacement therapy medications can cause increased estrogen dominance. Inflammation and oxidative stress of any sort slow down phase 3 of estrogen detox. Consuming soy. So soy is estrogenic, just like some of the other things we talked about, and all soy is GMO and mimics estrogen in the body, leading to estrogen dominance. Consuming foods that are GMO and all the grains, like I mentioned with what they're feeding the animals, those are all highly inflammatory, causing microbiome imbalances, causing leaky gut, and inhibiting phase 2 estrogen detox. Aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen, and this heightens estrogen dominance. Aromatase is worsened with excess belly fat, and fat cells hold on to those bad estrogens, increasing estrogen dominance. And this is what I mentioned before. So by consuming these GMOs and all the grains, you're increasing that aromatase, you're increasing the fat cells, and then that vicious cycle occurs. Stress in the body creates oxidation and inflammation, disrupting phase 1, 2, and 3 detoxification pathways, in addition to causing leaky gut and microbiome imbalances. Then you've got phase 3, compromised transporters. What does that mean? The phase 3 transporters move many things in and out of the cells. And as we age, those cell walls become rigid, and toxins have a harder time getting in and out of the cells. And those toxins include medications, chemicals, hormones, including estrogen. Once they're out of the cells, they moved into the kidneys, urine, bile, and intestines. And that's why those things are really important to keep them clean and healthy. The kidneys, the bile, the intestines. What slows down these transporters are inflammation, oxidative stress, toxic overload, and medication. So, leaky gut and compromised estrobolome. And that estrobolome is the estrogen detoxification microbiome. In other words, it's the aggregate of the bacterial genes whose products are capable of metabolizing those estrogens. So if your microbiome is out of whack, then the gut is not breaking down those estrogens, and then they're going to get recycled into your body. That's the phase 3. That is where we need to clear those pipes and make sure we're getting stuff out of the body. And it can be affected by antibiotics, drugs, and the diet. When this happens, estrogen is meant to pass through the gut and out with the feces, escapes, gets reabsorbed by the body, and beta glucuronidase is what allows that estrogen to escape. So probably the most important thing I'm going to be talking about is right now. And this is where you could be put on some estrogen detox supplements that could actually backfire. And no one's talking about this. Very few people are. There are a few very popular supplements for estrogen detox. And what happens is they could actually back up the liver due to your genetic predisposition. And I found this out the hard way. Estrogen supplements below, the ones that I'm going to talk about, require a detoxification of sulfur because they contain sulfur-rich ingredients. Now, what are sulfur ingredients and foods? The kale, broccoli, cabbage, bok choy, cauliflower, all of these low-carb, ketogenic, great, healthy foods are actually could be causing a backup in your liver, whether we're talking about estrogen dominance or any other sort of detox. So these are anti-estrogenic, meaning they help lower the bad estrogen in the diet. Or in the body. A lot of doctors and practitioners are going to be telling you, eat a lot of these vegetables. They're really good for your liver to clean it out and to help with all those toxic estrogens. Well, you can also find them in a concentrated form called DIM, D-I-M. And you'd have to eat a lot of the vegetables to equate the DIM supplement. But if you have an issue with processing sulfur-containing vegetables, then this is going to backfire and the sulfur detox pathways become disrupted. Consuming them could actually back up the liver even more, causing an increase in estrogen dominance. And you could have symptoms like inflammation, headaches, breakouts, bloat, constipation, all of these things. So DIM is one, and then just eating those vegetables in general that I mentioned is another. glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, and it's known to help with liver detoxification. A lot of practitioners are telling you to do that, do a glutathione supplement for boosting the immune system, for colds and flus, for detox, for estrogen dominance. But this can be made worse because glutathione is a sulfur-based supplement. Sulforaphane, you hear about this one because it's so concentrated from the broccoli sprouts. Well, broccoli, once again, sulfur, has a lot of sulfur in it, and it can actually back up the liver and worsen the detoxification process. Next is mushrooms. Mushrooms doesn't have sulfur in it, and they're used for estrogen dominance. But if someone's sensitive to mold, mushrooms could backfire, causing inflammation, liver backup, and allergies. So those are the ones you need to really be careful of. So how do we reverse estrogen dominance and know that we're not going to trip up some wrong gene in our body that may backfire? Number one, acceleridine. You guys, iodine is so important for detoxification, it regulates estrogen production, cleans the blood so that the liver can detox the estrogen, and it decreases estrogen in the receptor cells, which help reverse estrogen dominance. It also helps with fibroids, PCOS, and other issues related to hormone imbalances. It's also anti-inflammatory, a powerful antioxidant, which also helps neutralize the inflammation and oxidative stress that leads to estrogen dominance. And it also triggers healthy apoptosis, which is that natural death of traumatized and unhealthy cells, which helps reverse estrogen dominance. It's the only iodine that's monoatomic and enhanced with scalar frequencies, and is 100% bioavailable, and the only kind of iodine that can be absorbed through all 100 trillion cells on your body. The cells in your body only have receptor sites for that monoatomic form of iodine, and most iodine supplements are diatomic, meaning they are attached to another molecule like potassium iodide or sodium iodide, and most of them are radioactive or full of heavy metals. So acceleridine is your number one go-to for hormonal balance and for thyroid health, and also regulating estrogen in the body. Number two to go with that is the accelerated ancient salt. This salt plumps up the volume of fluid inside and outside the cells, so it's rehydrating your cells at the cellular level, and that helps clean the liver, supports apoptosis, induces DNA repair, cleans the body of excess estrogen. It also helps with bile production, breaking down the fats in the liver, and encourages improved digestive health. So for so many reasons, a lot of people, if you start out the regimen with the acceleridine and maybe you get nauseous or you're feeling a lot of detox symptoms, you put a little bit of the salt on your tongue about 15 minutes after you do the iodine. It's going to help rehydrate the cells, plump up the volume, and give the good balance of fluid in your body. It's not going to make you bloated. It's actually the opposite. Most of the other salts out there are full of microplastics and are absent all of the other minerals in the salt, where the accelerated ancient salt has over 62 minerals in it. Also tastes amazing. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I'm going out to dinner tonight, and I will be for sure having it in my purse with me. Next is accelerated keto. Now, why would the keto supplement help with estrogen dominance? Well, accelerated keto puts your body in ketosis and fat burning mode right away within 30 minutes. It helps control your appetite, increases physical and mental energy, and it teaches your body to utilize its own fat stores for energy. As the energy increases and your cravings for sugar decreases, your ability to intermittent fast and reduce insulin resistance increases. And this also cleans the liver, cleans up the excess estrogen, reduces inflammation, and reduces oxidative stress. All of these things are pro-estrogen detoxification. And where accelerated keto is different from so many of the other supplements, all of the other cofactors in the formula increase ATP production in the cells, which is your true cellular energy, and they're able to go above and beyond and defat the liver where fat burning occurs, hormones are regulated, and the sugars are processed. So it's really just amping up the processing of the liver. So it's really important that the liver is functioning at its optimal level to get rid of all of those xenoestrogens that lead to estrogen dominance. Next is the leaky gut supplements, the Megaspore, Mega Pre, and Mega Mucosa. And these help heal the leaky gut, improve nutritional absorption, and optimize that phase 3 estrogen detoxification by repairing the estrobolome. So remember, we want to clean out the pipes that are going out of the house, right? That's your leaky gut. Most people have leaky gut. If you've had any medication, any vaccines, any antibiotics, or you're just on a regular medication of any sort, you have leaky gut, unfortunately. Any GMOs that you've been eating, even just from going to a restaurant one night, can actually change your microbiome within a day. So it's really important to take these types of supplements to keep that gut healed. I take all 3 of these on a daily basis. Ever since I started it, my gut feels like it's all tight and feels great. The bloat isn't there, and bloat has always been a serious issue for me. Next is the berberine HCl that I have. It helps reduce inflammation, oxidative stress, and toxicity while lowering the glucose levels and increasing your nutrient absorption. All of these factors help with estrogen dominance. Now, calcium D-glucarate. This is one that I have just introduced. Super important. It is a specific form of calcium that assists the liver glucuronidation pathway by inhibiting the enzyme glucuronidase. And this is one of the body's main detox systems. So what's interesting, a lot of people are put on that DIM supplement that I mentioned earlier. They can be taken off of that and put on this. I really like this one for most people. It's been shown to support the body's ability to excrete lipid soluble toxins and steroids, including estrogen. It supports that glucuronidation by turning estrogens into its inactive form in phase 2 of the liver. And it doesn't lower beta glucuronidase in the gut, but it helps facilitate the estrogen metabolism to be eliminated in the gut. And it's also been shown to inhibit that aromatization and the conversion from testosterone to estrogen. So for our men out there who have plenty of testosterone, but too much estrogen, it could be because that testosterone is being converted into estrogen. Next is Laxa Comfort. This is one of my most popular supplements because it just makes you go to the bathroom. And it's like clockwork for those people who are so constipated, they can't go more than once a week and it's hardly anything. This is the magic pill. But this is also the magic pill if you just need a little help to make sure you're going 2 to 3 times a day, because you need to keep those daily bowel movements from to help the estrogens getting out of the body. Next is the magnesium breakthrough. I've been studying a lot of magnesium supplements. I know magnesium is so important for phase 2 liver detoxification, and it performs over 600 other biochemical reactions in the body. But the magnesium breakthrough, it has all 7 types of magnesium that are needed for all different parts of your body. Choline and inositol. This helps with phase 2 liver detox, methylation of estrogen, and cell membrane support for phase 3 detox. And it may help facilitate the burn of fat stores, and has been also shown to prevent abnormal or excessive liver accumulation of cholesterol and triglycerides. So also very important. Okay, so stem cell patches. This was a game changer for me because I couldn't take a glutathione supplement, right? But what about a glutathione LifeWave stem cell patch, where the patch triggers your own body to produce its own glutathione? We need glutathione. This glutathione may help detox the liver of excess estrogen, in addition to being that powerful antioxidant, detoxifier, immune booster, and neuroprotector. But this will trigger your own glutathione production by 300% in 24 hours, where most glutathione supplements, even if they worked for you, only increase your level of glutathione by 14% in 30 days. It is a very unstable supplement, very difficult to get it to work in the body. That's why I love the glutathione LifeWave patch. Next is the X39 stem cell patch, and this increases your own stem cell production, resets over 4,000 genes to a younger state, and the genes are responsible for cell membrane support, which allows the toxins out of the cells and the nutrients in the cells while healing the gut. And as a result, you're going to have a better gut microbiome. Your body's ability to detox from estrogens is going to be like that of when you were 20 years old versus your age now. It will also reduce inflammation that's also associated with estrogen dominance and things like endometriosis. It improves overall energy in the body, organ balance, and so much more. Next is the estrogen enhancer patches. These increase cellular health and improve detoxification and allow the toxins to pass through the cell walls very easily. And that's where the cell walls have become really rigid. The energy enhancer patch helps increase that fluidity to let the toxins out and the nutrients in. It also increases ATP production. I've got them on my wrist right here. You can also see my Genius app going to work and telling me what I need for the day. If you're interested in the Genius Insight app, that is something that you can get a free consult, one-on-one consult, and a 2-week trial on. But this will actually tell me if I have toxic overload or my hormones are out of balance or estrogen dominance. So that's what's great too about that. But I've got my patches right here on my pericardium meridian, my heart meridian, and that also increases my energy physically and mentally. Okay, so what else can you do naturally for your lifestyle? Eat organic food. It's just a no-brainer. We have no choice anymore. 20 years ago, you may have had a choice, but GMOs are everywhere, and we really need to protect our bodies. We're going to get plenty of them on our own, just from going to restaurants and from getting an overspray onto the organic fields. But that is one of the biggest things leading to high estrogen dominance. You're not going to like me for this one. Eliminate alcohol. Alcohol increases estrogen in 3 ways. Number 1, it increases small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which increases the recycling of estrogen, leading to estrogen dominance. Alcohol on its own increases estrogen. Alcohol will increase the aromatization conversion from testosterone into estrogen in men and women. So 3 ways, 3 different ways it is going to increase your estrogen in your body. Next, you can do that intermittent fasting. That reduces inflammation, reduces estrogen dominance, reduces that belly fat. The belly fat leads to estrogen dominance, remember that vicious cycle. And it also improves the overall balance of hormones. And by reducing the belly fat, a reduction in aromatization occurs, where that testosterone is converting to estrogen. And during that intermittent fasting window, the body is engaged in autophagy, where the body cleans up the useless and damaged tissues and decreases the inflammation that cause pain, heals the gut, improves nutrition absorption, all of those wonderful things. And that will reverse or help reverse estrogen dominance. Focus on the wild fish and wild animal protein, the omega-3 fatty acids and amino acids from these foods like deer, elk, bison, lamb. Bison is so easy to get now, and you can get them from byranchdirect.com, personalgourmetfoods.com, wildforkfoods.com. I believe those three. There are plenty of sources out there. Your local markets are starting to carry them, and you just cook them like normal meat. It's not difficult. And the wild fish, these are the basis of your nutrients. They also stabilize blood sugar, encourage insulin sensitivity, improve bile production for liver detox. They help suppress the cravings for carbs and sugar that dysregulate insulin and lead to estrogen dominance. Lastly, a no-brainer, eliminate the processed foods and the sugar. Those things increase beta-glucuronidase, cause leaky gut, increase inflammation, and increase the recycling of estrogen. So it's all bad. I wish there was a better way to talk about it, but unfortunately, that is the truth. So if you're going to eat the desserts, we want to have the whole food desserts like fruits. I love papaya and mango and fruits like that. Okay, Christy has a question. Is there any special consideration for those of us who have their gallbladder removed? Christy, yes, I'm so glad you asked. I will post in the chat my article on gallbladder and insulin resistance, and I definitely talk about this. It is a misnomer that if you have had your gallbladder removed, that you can't eat the wild fish or too much fat. Actually, the body learns to recycle the bile. So Christy, this is a really big topic, and it has a big answer, and I'm going to put it in the chat on the Telegram chat. It's also found at sarahbantahealth.com. You guys, my new website's up where all of the articles are so easily found, and you can search any topic very easily. And that is one of the more recent ones. So you'll see it right away if for some reason you can't find it in the description below on this recording of the health talk. So that is a big one, but I do, please check out sarahbantahealth.com, my new website. It also takes you to acceleratedhealthproducts.com, which is the store. I also want to mention it's been 1 week since the store's been up. There are some glitches working out. So if you come into a problem with trying to order, please don't give up. Send me an email and we will figure it out, because I know there's a few issues. Good news is once we get the glitches out, it is going to be a much faster, easier way to order. And everything on the sarahbantahealth.com website is so easily laid out. You will be able to find topics that are important for you, like inflammation. What did I write on inflammation? And we'll come up with all the articles that you would ever want to read. And I really believe that my content is very value added to what you're learning about your own health. I'm trying to give you the power back over your health. So please share that website, sarahbantahealth.com, to your friends and family, and this video after you've listened to it. I will put the link below in my how to join the group coaching. Everybody's included. Everybody come and learn. No requirement to be a purchaser. You can just sit back and learn and listen from others troubleshooting. And just had a question about how to incorporate the acceleratine in your diet. And according to blood tests, that was a question from Karen, and I addressed it. And I know hundreds of people were thinking the same question. So that's the beauty of the like-minded group that I have created on Telegram. So please share and invite your friends and family to listen to this, to go to the website, sarahbantahealth.com, and also to join the Telegram group. Alrighty, everybody, have a great week. And remember to always join me Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time for my podcast with my guests. And it's always a time where I'm learning from my guests, and you can too. You can also join the chat and join the conversation with me and my guest. Have a great week.